I'd forgotten that their offensive coordinator is actually Kendall Briles, and I've sat in Kendall Briles' office. I've sat through a meeting with Kendall. I know his offense actually pretty well. They will, and actually, it's also interesting that they're going to run a lot of the same stuff that Clemson runs. I mean, they're going to run very similar offense to what Clemson runs in terms of what they'll call. So that actually is interesting. Just thinking ahead, but they're going to. The thing about Kendall is, first of all, tempo is a big deal for him. If you can get first down stops, if you can win first down and keep them off leverage, that dramatically changes Briles' offense. If they stay ahead of the chains, it can get brutal, and it can get. I mean, they can put a lot of numbers on you quick. And the other thing is that Briles will never fully abandon the run. They may, there's some air raid influence and all that with Sonny Dykes and all that, but that Briles offense is really it's sort of the veer and shoot. Now they've hybridized it a little bit with Dyke stuff and all of that. But the thing that you're going to get out of TCU is they are going to really test you with a lot of vertical choice stuff, and then and force you to have to cover downfield. And what a vertical choice is they're going to send a receiver downfield where he has essentially 3, sometimes 4 options on what he's doing. He's going to run a vertical stem, and when he gets to 10, 12 yards, he's either going to the post at a high angle, or he's going outside on a go route, or he might go outside and then sit it down in like a comeback or a fallout type route, or he can just sit in the stick. And you've got all of those options are in play, and depending on what the coverage is doing and where he is relative to leverage of the defensive back, he's going to do any one of those, and the quarterback just has to be on the same page. Now, every so often that leads to being on a different page. You get a throw to nowhere kind of thing, but you can put up filthy numbers doing that because you read, okay, well, it's middle of the field open, corner's bailing, so that's taking away that vertical to the outside, coming right inside, or coming right over the top there to the open middle field, and you just have the quarterback throw there and a guy's wide open. It can get tough to cover. Now the thing is, if you can pressure the quarterback quickly enough, that can change the math in terms of how much you're able to do the vertical choice stuff. So you go back to when Kendall was at Florida State, and they were so bad on the offensive line, they really struggled to throw downfield and get some of that stuff done. So first and foremost, Carolina's pass rush, and specifically the more you can get that pass rush up the middle, is going to be really important in this game. But the other thing too is, again, like I said, they're not going to stop running the football because Briles really believes in the veer aspect of the veer and shoot. They're going to run power. They're going to run counter. They're going to try to take advantage of you on the inside, and the way that they block it, they're going to try to run A gap stuff. They want to run straight at your defensive tackles and push you around. And some of us have been around long enough to remember that Baylor game where Baylor started a wide receiver basically at quarterback. You know who was calling that offense? Kendall Briles.
Yep.
So my concern coming into this game is that Kendall's looking at this defense and saying, you know what, I think I'm going to be able to run it on them. I'm going to be able to run it up the middle. So much of what we're going to find out about this team in this game is going to be in the first 2-3 drives of the offense, where they're going to try to test that interior. And if they're getting space, it could be a long night. What you said, Greg, about them getting a lead and then that maybe being too much, they get space and they cause problems there, that's your problem. If Carolina is able to plug that middle and do all of that without having to invest those safeties coming down, because the thing is that what they want to do is force you to bring that extra guy in the box, and then it's vertical choice, and you're getting free runners up the middle of the field on those verts. And that is, oh my gosh, that is really bad. You want to be able to play too deep on this. You want to play, cover 4 with some guys over the top. You want to be able to play cover 3 with a deeper than normal safety. You want to be able to do that stuff. And it all comes down to the interior. I don't know what's going to happen there. But I think the football game is going to be decided probably with that. Now the positive, if I'm looking at this from Carolina's perspective, flipping over, and I know the egg timer's going off right now and all, but Greg, any idea how many rushing yards per game TCU gave up last year?
Gave up? No, I do not.
They weren't good.
They gave up 160.5 rushing yards per game, which was good for 12th in their conference last year. Now, they got a couple guys added to, they got one guy back from injury who was important for them the year before. They added a key transfer there on the defensive line. But they have their own questions and concerns about stopping the run. So, to me, the team that runs the football is going to have a lot of good chances in this game. Their quarterback's really good. I think Carolina's secondary is really good. They're going to need to be balanced to be able to beat this Carolina team. I think it's going to be a really interesting game, but those are the places where my eyes are going to go. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I think we know too little, but if I'm Carolina, I'm looking at that 160.5 rushing yards a game, and I'm saying, let's see if we can go for 250.
All right, Jason, you went there, so I'm going to offer up a thought experiment for the group. In 2015, in that Baylor game, Kendall's Art's offense ran for a bowl record 645 yards. If TCU were to run for 645 yards on Monday night, what would practice look like on Tuesday?
I see dead people. It's a movie quote,
on
folks.
that one. I can't improve on that one.
It's fascinating to me, though. We're talking about a football field that's 100 yards long, 53 yards wide, and this game's going to be decided in that 4-yard box around the football when it's laid and put in play. And that's what this is all about. And that's why, for me, I've said all along, I just wish Carolina had one more stud defensive tackle. Maybe they have them. We haven't seen them, but it comes down to that. Great stuff from both of you. And Blasky's got to get healthy. And, we'll see.